Hey, I am here in my very messy studio. This is my desk behind me, and it's pretty much a disaster, which is part of why this week I'm starting a spring cleaning adventure over on my Patreon page, and I'll put the links down below. Every Monday and Thursday until we're done, so it'll be at least a few weeks, I think. Please join me in doing some spring cleaning. And all of this is spring cleaning, not just to tidy your house, because how unmotivating is that? This is spring cleaning to get your creative house in order, literally and figuratively. So not only are we going to pay attention to the spaces where we create, we're also going to pay attention to the spaces in here where we create. You don't have to be a patron to play along. So please, again, I'll put the link down below, but go over to patreon.com/kpworker. Yesterday was the first Monday of spring cleaning, and in it is the first activity of the adventure. So if you too need to get your creative house in order, literally and figuratively, I hope you'll join in. And also check in my Facebook group, which is kind of a slightly more private place to share photos, and people are already sharing their photos of their messy spaces. So there is no shame in this, and we're going to have a lot of fun getting our creative spaces in order. So that's number one, is spring cleaning. Please join me. It is time. Number two, coming up this Saturday on April 22nd is not only Earth Day, it's also the marches for science that are happening all over the world. So it's kind of an apolitical thing, kind of a political thing in support of scientific research, scientists' freedom to do their work and talk about their work all over the world. And I've got a hat for science. You can see I'm showing you the top of the hat. This is the hat. But the reason I designed the hat like this is with a nifty spiral in the middle. So if you are a crocheter, even a super beginner crocheter, this is a really nifty technique and a cool way to make stripes in the round. And I have a tutorial on my blog for how to make the spiral and a free pattern for how to make the hat. So make yourself a hat for science. Whether you're able to march at a local march or not this coming weekend, you can find out more at sciencemarch.com and find the pattern for this on my blog at kimworker.com. And again, really fun spiral, very cool technique, seems way more complicated than it actually is. And finally, I spent this past weekend sewing. I had the house to myself, and I have been wanting to sew clothes for many, many years, and I have collected fabric and patterns. And this weekend, I finally made clothes for the very first time. And I like this shirt. I made this shirt. I am wearing clothes that I made myself. Actually, I made 3 shirts this weekend and most of a 4th because I had the house to myself. And so that's what I did all weekend long, was I sewed. And here's the thing. I sewed knits on my regular sewing machine. The rumors are true. You don't need a serger to sew knits. And I realized that, of course, I haven't been making myself clothes out of other things because all I wear are knits. Why would I want like a form-fitting woven top? That's not the actual clothes I like wearing. So I sewed knits. And coming up later this week, I will share the things that I learned sewing knits on my regular sewing machine for the very first time. So hopefully you too, if you're like me and you like wear a t-shirt every day, and why would you want like fancy clothes with like darts and whatever when what you could wear is like a super like amorphous kind of t-shirt, then I hope you'll check back at kimworker.com later on this week, and I will have tips for sewing with knits and what I learned doing it for the very first time when I had never used a twin needle before. I had never sewn with knits before, and it in fact is totally doable. And you probably can't even see in this video, unless you are and you're judging me, that like my seams are a little wonky, and like who cares? Who cares, right? It's perfect because this was one of the first shirts I ever made, and I am happy in its imperfection. So I know this is a really quick update, but so please rewatch this anytime you want to catch the links, and I will be putting the links down below so you can follow along and catch the hat for science, the sewing tips that are coming later this week. And please do join me on Patreon for some spring cleaning, because I'm certain that I'm not alone in this. Also, I'm hearing from some other people that they're like, yes, we need to get our creative houses in order, and so now is the time to do it. Ask any questions in the comments below. I'll be checking in all the time, and we can chat, and I'll see you soon. Bye, you guys.